Hey guys, my name is Matthias, and in this video I'd like to present the Energica Experia, which is obviously electric. It was first launched in 2022, and this actually is the launch edition, so equipped with luggage and other things. The battery is really massive. It's from down under to the very top of the tank. There is this huge, massive block of battery. Now, before getting into a drive test, I would very much like to share some technical data with you. You can read that in the internet, but actually it's more nice if I can tell it to you here during the video. Let's start with the manufacturer's statement about this bike. Purpose-driven performance, having the power you need. Experia is a new, no-emission green tourer motorcycle, purpose-built to let any rider travel in an environmentally friendly way to the ends of our now known world. Experia also adeptly denotes the deep expertise we've acquired during a decade of racing, design and manufacturing in the field of electric technology. Well, not too bad, they're really self-confident. Next. The Energica Experia is therefore Europe's first electric green tourer bike and arguably the only motorcycle ever built for that intention as a complete platform with a newly designed electric powertrain and battery. Let's get to the motor. The motor is it's a tongue breaker. A permanent magnets-assisted synchronous reluctance motor, PMA Syn-RM, abbreviated. The earlier models had a hybrid synchronous motor. The nominal power is 80 horsepower or 60 kilowatts, and the peak power is 102 horsepower or 75 kilowatts. Torque at the engine is 150 newton meters and at the rear wheel 900 newton meters, and top speed is 180 kilometers. The battery's capacity is 22.5 kilowatt hours, which is a lot. A Renault Zoe, very famous Europe electric car, only had 22 kilowatt hours, so half a kilowatt hour less. The range that you can achieve is 222 kilometers according to WMTC. That's the World Motorcycle Test Cycle, and that is a system to determine the range of the consumption of fuel for general bikes, and it's also applied to electric motorcycles. And what I can confirm is you can definitely achieve that range. The life cycle of the battery is 1,200 charge cycles from 0 to 100%. Power transmission is with a chain. You don't have a clutch, you don't have a switch lever. The suspension system is from the ZF Sachs. Front suspension is a 42 millimeters upside down fork. You can adjust compression and rebound separately, and obviously also the preload of the springs. And the rear also has a spring from ZF Sachs, and it only has the rebound adjustable plus the preload of the tension. The overall compression, travel is 150 millimeters. The wheels and the rims are standard, taken from the standard program from Energica. It is 17-inch front and rear. The tire dimensions is 120, 70, 17, and in the rear 180, 55, 17. It's a standard size that you can get plenty of choices for tires. Brembo supplies the brakes. There are 330 millimeters discs, and there is a 4-piston caliper. And in the rear, you have a 240 millimeter disc and a 2-piston caliper. Top brake performance supreme. In the rear, well, you have to push a little bit. Okay, let's compare the dimensions. Read for yourself. Length is first one, then width, height, seat height, wheelbase, empty weight, overall max weight, and the luggage that you can put on. Probably press pause, and because I think it's quite interesting to compare the different bikes. Now let's get to the test ride. Let's take a seat. Okay, how does it feel? Well, the seat is, besides the height of 850 millimeters roughly, it's you can reach the ground with both feet. I'm 1.79 meters, so not too tall. The thing is that the waist, I don't know how to say that in English, the waist size is rather small, so you can have your legs turned together and you can reach further down. The steering bar is quite neutral, you can reach it easily. There is a dial for the front brake, which you can adjust the width to the grip. Let's start the computer, or let's actually boot the computer. You don't start it, you're booting it. Push the brake, pinch the start button, and then you hear a relay clicking, and then you have the go mode in the bike. And then let's get started. Let's do this! Okay, the first thing that I noticed, even at the lower speeds, is it's completely flickable. It does not fall into the turns, but you also don't have to push it. It's completely neutral. You see that I'm using fingers pinched more or less, and I can in every corner I can let loose of the handlebars, and it still follows the track. There's a very characteristic noise to this. There's a straight toothed gear set, and it is the same than older cars were using for the reverse gears. So when you close your eyes and imagine accelerating on the Energica, sounds similar to a reversing car. That's an Italian thing, they like this noise. I would actually pay a premium to get rid of that. But anyway, that's their thing. You have to like it and accept it or not. Now I'm coming back again to the handling. It's really supreme. You can flick it easily. It's always neutral, there's always grip, you have a good feeling to the front wheel, and you always, it creates a level of trust that you will find in not many bicycles. The suspension itself, as I'm doing this video, I was still riding it in the factory settings, so in the rear it was completely working okay. In the front it was a little bit, too much damped, I would say. Meanwhile, I've adjusted the damping, put 2 clicks down, and now it's top notch. I like it. Now the look to the rear, I have circa 1/4 of the mirror that is blocked by my shoulders. That's completely okay. I still have my own position in the mirrors, and that's just fine. Still enough room to see to the right. In the old bike that I had before the Rebel, I had mirror extenders, and I don't have the intention to install them here. The acceleration of the engine is really fascinating. So it goes off like nothing. Okay, if you're coming from a Rebel, you've seen, let's say, a different situation, but it's still, I would say it has a level of something like 80% of the Rebel and 150% of that of a standard bike, compared to a BMW GS or a Ducati Multistrada. And the thing, you have no switchgear, no clutch, and you can fully concentrate and focus on your track, on the surrounding, and you can enjoy actually the environment a little bit more than because you don't have to concentrate on getting the bike in the right gear and you know, fiddle a little bit with the clutch. And the connection to the environment is enormous. It's much better, and it's, let's say, it's a different level of connection to the bike. You have less how to say, less spirit coming from the engine itself. There is no sound, etc. But you have more environment that you can enjoy, and that gives a different kind of riding compared with ICE bikes, so internal combustion engine bikes. I was driving a lot of one cylinder bikes, big enduros, also Honda VFR. During the last years, the Boxer engines from BMW. I like them a lot, but this one here is also it's awesome. It's, as I said, it's different. It's not directly comparable, but it's great. And the only thing is, get to your next dealer and take it out for a ride if you have the chance. You will definitely. It will be mind-blowing. Now let's test the brakes here. Wow. Okay, it's decelerating enormously. There is a very fine regulation of the ABS. It's a Bosch up-to-date system, a 6-axis IMU, so it really has the latest technology built in. There's a direct difference to the Rebel and SE when you brake. It's one level above, I can tell you. Again, what I mentioned earlier, in the top the brakes are really gripping hard, and the rear you really have to push it hard, so less, I would say, effective. The turn angle or the turn diameter is something estimated between 6 and 8 meters. It could be less, I would say, but you can deal with that. So it works okay.
Das ist schon viel. Aber ja, man bekommt es gemeistert.
So when you have tight turns, what you can do is you can push the rear brake and then only control with the torque of the motor your travel, and you can just take turns when the steering is turned hard against the stopper. When it comes to the interface here, the switchgear set left and right are coming from Domino, another Italian supplier. It's, I would say, medium quality. Could be better, but it's standard, and it's also used a lot in Ducatis or Aprilias. So it's okay, it's working. The buttons have a haptic clicky feedback, so I believe, if I remember correctly, that was not present in the 2020 SE that I had first. So a small upgrade. Okay, guys. I would say that's it when it comes to the drive test. I'm enjoying the rest of the track here, and then.
Macht's gut, bis später.
Oh, this is here acceleration.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, what you can see here is 3.8 seconds. Okay, I'm a little bit heavy, around 105 kilos, and the manufacturer pretends 3.5 seconds. And the second braking test. That's really. There's a lot of grip in the brakes. That's really perfect. So I was really pushing the hand lever full, so it was the ABS was controlling, and it is really working 100%.
Hier blende ich euch mal
Okay,
den
now
Tacho ein.
you see the
Da
speedo
kann man
versus
wunderbar
GPS
sehen. Das ist auch
deviation,
gut erkennbar,
and I was calculating
wie die
5%
angezeigte
difference here.
Geschwindigkeit mit der GPS-Geschwindigkeit übereinstimmt. Aus Ideenlosigkeit fahre ich einfach mal
Oh,
der
there's some
hinterher.
stupid comments in German.
Ich will also nicht ständig demonstrieren, dass ich die Verkehrsmittel nicht beherrsche.
Okay, this is me trying to respect the speed limit, and I'm really surprised not to flip over. Okay, now I'm getting back home. And then let's get to the summary. I was doing that 2 days later, actually.
So, Kollegen.
Okay,
Kommen wir
guys,
mal zum Fazit.
let's get to the summary.
Was bleibt in Erinnerung?
What
Also als allererstes
do I
muss ich
remember?
unbedingt noch mal
I have
wiederholen,
to repeat
das super
the
sahnemäßige Handling.
perfect handling of the
Man
bike.
kann in Kurven,
In
egal ob es enge
twisties,
oder weite
in
sind, langsam
tight
oder
or in
schnell fahren,
wide turns,
praktisch in jeder
in
Schräglage,
whatever
das
your
Lenker mit
turn
zwei
is,
Fingern, mit
you can
Spitzenfingern
always
führen. Man könnte
guide the
die Hände
bike
vom
with
Lenker
only
nehmen
two
und das
fingers.
Motorrad würde seinen
You can
Radius weiter,
theoretically take the hands
ziehen. Man muss ein
completely
bisschen
off
auf
the
den
grip,
Reifendruck
and
achten,
it
da
continues
sind die Nervikas,
the
die
course.
Rebell
So that is
seinerzeit, die sind
perfect.
sehr empfindlich.
With the
Hier soll
Rebel
der
and the
Reifendruck
SCSC,
2,6
it
bar
was
sein.
had the
Ich fahre
tendency
mit
that it was
2,7, da muss
trying
man-
to
muss jeder mal schauen, wo er da liegt,
drive
aber
more straight, more or less. So you have to lean in more aggressively.
das Fahrwerk,
If
hinten habe
you
ich's erwähnt, es
sit
ist sehr
neutral on the bike,
unauffällig,
it's
ganz hervorragend,
working
es
perfectly.
pumpt mich nach, also Dämpfung und Federvorspannung passt. Das habe ich
Damping
ausgemessen,
and
auf mein Körpergewicht eingestellt, das ist
spring
super.
preload
Vorne
is
muss ich noch
okay,
mal
more or
ran.
less. I was readjusting it. I was mentioning it before, I think.
Eingestellt.
And now it's working really,
Und Zugstufe muss
yeah,
ich ein bisschen
great.
spielen. Ich glaub, die Gabel
It's a matter of
schwergängig
body weight, of course,
Ansprechweiten.
of
Deswegen
temperature,
habe
of
ich das Stück
tire
rechter
pressure. Oh yeah, the tire pressure,
Und
very
ich
important.
denke, das
Energicas
muss
are
da
very
hinterher das muss eingestellt
subjective to tire pressure, so increasing it by 0.1 or 0.2 bars
Dieses Handling
will help a
sicherlich
lot.
auch die sehr aufrechte Sitzposition. Also man sitzt
The
wirklich
great
sehr
handling
aufrecht
is
drauf.
definitely
Der
supported
Fahrer
by the
sitzt
seating position.
mit 849
So
Millimetern zwar eher
you
etwas
sit
hoch,
very
aber dadurch,
high,
dass die Taille
but you have
vom
a
Motorrad, ich
wasp
meine,
tail of the
sehr schmal
bike
geschnitten
itself,
ist, kommt
so
man
you
mit den
get
Beinen ohne
your
die-
legs
ohne die
down
Oberschenkel
very good.
weit zu
And
reizen, kommt man
as I
also
said
direkt nach
before,
unten.
with my
Komme
1
selbst
meter
auf dem
79,
Motorrad sitzen mit
I can
angelegten
flat
Beinen,
foot the bike
komme ich
and
satt
even
mit
have
den
a
Füßen nach unten. Ich denke,
convenient
ab Körpergrößen von
knee
1,70
angle, I would say. So that
würde das der
is
Fall sein. Also lasst euch
no
nicht von
worries,
der
and you don't have to
Höhe
get
irgendwie
excited about the height.
einschüchtern.
Just try it. It will suit you, I
Dann,
guess. I hope.
Griffe, Lenker habe ich genug zu gesagt. Kommen wir mal zum Motor. Genau.
Okay,
Der Motor
some
hat
thoughts
80 PS
on
als
the
Dauerleistung,
motor.
102 PS als
The motor has got 80
Das klingt jetzt
horsepower,
erstmal
and
nicht sehr viel,
it does not sound like
aber lasst euch
too
versichern,
much, but
Leistung hat dieses
because of
Motorrad
the torque
satt.
and the
Man
torque that
vermisst
is
es
present
kein bisschen,
right
auch nicht im
from
direkten Vergleich mit einer
the
GS, die
speed of
irgendwo bei
zero, more or less,
136
that's
PS, ich weiß
enormous,
nicht, wo
and
die
it
momentan
is
liegen genau.
accelerating like
Und
hell.
das hohe
And there's
Drehmoment auf
a
einer
common
Elektromotor,
saying
man
with
hat das,
electric
dieser
vehicles that
selbstverständlich
it
auch.
the acceleration is
Man
like
kommt also
pulled on a rubber
jederzeit
band,
super
but that's
weg
really
und
it. You
nach dem
don't have to
Beschleunigen
flick
festgesehen,
through
frei
the
gemacht.
revs on the
Ich habe jetzt
on the
keinen
motor
Vergleich gemacht, was eine
just to
GS
find
zum
the
Beispiel schafft, aber
top
das ist
area
echt
where
ein
it has
ordentlicher
the
Wert. Das ist
biggest
wirklich ein
power.
sehr ordentlicher
It's
Wert.
always there.
Da kann man
You see,
wahrscheinlich
I've just blended in the acceleration of the BMW GS.
unterschalten in einen Modus,
The
wo
manufacturer
die
even
Leistung so ein
pretends
bisschen
that the
lastet,
GS
so ein
is
bisschen flacher
3.6 from 0 to 100,
Ich glaube,
so
der
that's
Motor ist
a
genug
little bit
da.
slower than the
Bearbeitung.
Experia. And
Die
that with
Bearbeitung
only
ist
80
groß und
horsepower
das ist
versus the
Es gibt ein paar Details,
136
die würde ich mir
horsepower
beim
of the
Motorrad
BMW.
dieser Preiskategorie doch
Let's
etwas
get
ordentlicher
to
ausgeführt wünschen.
the
Also die
quality
Schweißnahtnähte,
impression. So
die
welding
sind nur
is,
1B.
I would
Eine
say,
1A-Schweißnaht habe ich zum Beispiel
only
gesehen
B
an
quality.
der
It's not A
Energica
quality.
Rebelle, die ich vorher
The
hatte.
Energica
Das war wirklich
Rebelle
so,
that I
als wenn
had
man
before,
die Rohrstücke des Rahmens
the weld
aufeinander,
quality was
klebt
really
und
supreme.
dann
It's
mit einer
like
Silikonfuge glatt
you
gezogen war
glue
dann
the
diese
tubes together
Schweißnaht
and you have a very
Also
even
optisch klasse. Die ist hier ein bisschen sprotzeliger. Man muss dazu sagen,
welding
ich hab,
seam.
Fahrgestell
That
Nummer,
was
ich glaub, 48,
really a
also
piece
eine
of
der
art.
ersten
This is,
Modelle.
as I said, only B
Und
quality.
da müssen sich wahrscheinlich die ganzen Prozesse
I think
erst noch einspielen,
since my bike is
bevor das
VIN
wirklich
number
in Serie
50,
gefertigt werden kann.
probably
Meine
they
Vermutung.
don't have the experience
Also ich weiß,
yet,
Energica kann es etwas besser.
and Energica has proven
Lackqualität ist
to be
super, die
better
ist sehr
in that.
gleichmäßig, nicht wolkig oder
The
ähnliches.
paint
Es
quality is
Mattlack.
perfect.
Die
It's not cloudy or
Aufkleber,
something like that.
das kann ich nicht so genau
It's
sagen.
great.
Es fühlt sich
The
an, als wenn
stickers
sie
seem to be
übergebrannt
on
werden. Es
top
kann
of the
aber auch sein, dass
paint.
da eine ganz dünne
It's
Schicht Klarlack
very
drüber ist.
very hard to determine. Maybe there is a thin layer of varnish on top of that. Today I've seen the white version, and the white paint quality is definitely very thick and heavy, and the stickers are definitely also under a thick layer of clear varnish. So that's okay. When you are doing some maintenance on the bike or fiddle around with it, it's very good, very disassemblable. The disassemblability is very good. Very tiny screws that the Italians are using, but the fit and finish of the plastic part is very good when you disassemble it. And there is also no noise. What I had on the SES and on the Rebel, when you squeeze the tank area, you heard a squeaking noise of the plastic parts. And with Experia, the quality impression is much better because there is no squeaking. It's just very robust. Next, Energica is again using some small nice details, like they've CNC milled a couple of parts here in the foot area. The clamp of the handlebar is also very nicely made. There's a laser application on the rear carrier of the license plate. Some small details where you see the attention of the Italians to the quality of the bike. They're really, it's proudly made in Modena, and you can see that it is really proudly made. A few more comments on the battery. You can hear Akku, me saying Akku a couple of times because that's the German for battery, more or less, for rechargeable battery. So this is a 22.5 kilowatt hours battery, as mentioned a couple of times before. It's a new chemistry, it's a lithium polymer. Standard in electric vehicles is usually lithium ion or LFP. That's also being used quite often. But with this technology, the cells have a relatively large surface, and the cooling is better. That's what I heard from an interview with the CEO. On the top there is storage, but there is, because of the size of the battery, not very much space left. Those 222 kilometers of range that Energica is pretending, in the typical European conditions, I would say, easily being met. The thing is, wind resistance is your biggest enemy. And if we have street limits here outside of cities of 100 kilometers per hour, so if you always ride at that limit, you will deplete it probably earlier. But since there are cities, things like that, so the average is much lower and you can make it. One more thing, apart from guys crossing the US in trying to make a new range and speed record here, the typical tour that you do when you're touring, I don't know, for a week or something like that, you do something like 250, 300, 350 kilometers. That's, I would say, the typical range. Which means you only have to charge once during the day. And then, of course, in the evenings in the hotel or wherever you're staying. So you do a CCS charging once, maybe even twice per day. No problem. Oh, this is an app tip that I have here, Charge EV, that works perfect for Europe at least. And that's that's very good. If you're riding with friends with ICE bikes, they also stop from time to time, just have a smoke, have a chat, things like that. I was doing a couple of trips with some friends in the past years, and at first they were a little bit curious about, okay, will this guy really, stay in our pace? There was no issue at all. So meanwhile, there are chargers everywhere, also CCS chargers. The availability of the chargers is very high, and no problems to really take it on longer trips here. In the evenings when you're in a hotel or here in my garden shed where I'm charging it, I'm not using CCS obviously, I'm using Type 2 cable, and it charges then overnight. Usually when I'm riding the bike down to less than 20%, maybe less than 10%, it takes something like 7 or max 7.5 hours, typically around 6 hours. Last word about warranty. Energica has lifted up the warranty for the battery to 5 years, as they have collected some experience and they are really confident that the bike is living up to that. The rest of the bike itself has got a warranty of 2 years. The warranty extension was for free until end of 2022, but I believe there is a premium of around a little bit over 1,000 euros or dollars that you have to pay on top if you want to have this battery extension. And guys, I can't wait to take it out for the next tour. So thanks a lot for staying with me for this review. Enjoy this season. Keep rubber down and heads up.